Hey friends, how are you? It has been a minute, so I decided to get ready with you and at the same time show you some of the new eyeshadows that are coming out in just 8 days. So exciting. So good morning, welcome. I am April with Grab Your Glam. If you've never been here before, thank you so much for hanging out with us. For all my lovelies that have been with me forever, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so we're just gonna do our makeup today. I'm gonna give you some tips and tricks along the way, and then I'm gonna show you 4 or 5 of the new eyeshadows that are coming out on the 29th. So here we go. As you can see, I have redness. I've got a tan here where I wear a ball hat when I ride, and that's like the opening in the trucker hat that I have. And then you can see where like my band is. So I've got that going on. I've got some melasma. So all kinds of things going on with my skin. You would never, ever, ever know it if you saw me with just my makeup on. So I'm going to show you how I accomplish that. It is all done by one palette. I have a triple decker, but I actually only need a double decker. And I don't even use all of it. So it's pretty amazing, but I like to have the extra. So when I go out of town or whatever, I can just stick a couple of extra eyeshadows and lip and cheeks in there and have lots of options. So here's what I'm going to be using today. This is papaya. This is what I'm going to use to work on the most discolorations. This is mango. She's going to be my all over color. And then this is white peach. That's what I brighten with. This is ash contour. I only use it on my nose. My nose is weird. It only wants that contour. It is what it is. This is indigo. This will be the contour that I use everywhere else. This is Bella. This is my bronzer. And then I'll be using this right here. This is Tropicana. These are 2 other lip and cheeks that I just have in here to use when I want. And then, look at these gorgeous new eyeshadows. This is what I do my brows with. This is Basic and Arabian Nights. This is my Illuminator Starlit. And then these are the new eyeshadows that I'll be using. This is Butterscotch, Holly. I can't remember the names of all them. I can tell you what they used to be called. Yeah, I can't remember what the new name of this. This is Drift, and this is Angel's Landing. So, okay, here we go. When you hop on, say hi. Hey, Erica. I'm going to forewarn you, I did not clean my brushes before coming on here, so you're going to see dirty brushes. I clean my brushes about once a week. I do wipe them off in between, which is what I'm doing right now. I use our brush cleaner, Houdini. It's amazing. You can use your brushes right after using it, and it does a fantastic job. But for all those people saying you have to wash your brushes every time after you do your makeup, you don't. And that's just really hard on your brushes. All right, first things first. I'm going to work on some of this discoloration. I'm going to take the small end of my brush and go under my eyes. And you can see how that automatically disappeared. That kind of purpley discoloration and all the things, all the fun things that come with aging. All right, now I'm switching over to my blush and bronzer brush. I think it's just called the blush brush now. And I'm still gonna pick up some of this papaya, but I'm gonna mix it with just a tiny bit of mango. And we're gonna go on my nose. And cheeks. And chin. Those are my main areas. And then I'm gonna fill in the rest with just mango, that all over color I have. I don't wanna add a lot of darkness to my face by adding a ton of that. I'm gonna grab my other, hang on. We moved not very long ago, and I can't remember what I did. Ah, there it is. Okay, sorry about that. I normally have this mirror kind of tucked behind my phone screen so I can see a little better. and I forgot to do it. So yay, now I can actually see what I'm doing. All right. It's the first time I've remembered to pull that out since we moved. I had to remember where I put it. Okay, so I am just adding this mango to the rest of my face. This is my all over color. I'm getting it right up to my hairline. Doing my eyelids. I think everyone should do their eyelids, but especially if they're just colored like mine are. I'm going right here. If you notice, I'm not going here or here because I'm getting ready to put contour there. So there's no need to put it twice. You can see where I ride. I'm lighter right there in the middle. So I just kind of like to fill that in a little bit. All right. So you can already see that like my skin is much more evened out, kind of one color. And that in itself is a huge improvement. All right, so I like to use my Perfector sponge kind of between every application, just because I want to make sure that I don't have any excess product anywhere. All right, so now we are going to bronze. I'm using the big fluffy end of my brush now, and I'm going to come in with this Bella bronzer. We did just come out with 3 new bronzer colors. I don't have them yet, but I'm excited to try them. One of them, if you have been around a while, you know that we used to have a powdered bronzer called Cayman. It's a lighter bronzer for more fair toned skin, and we just brought that back, but in a cream. So that is an option for you lighter toned gals that will be available to you on the 29th. So basically what I'm doing, hey Barb, is I'm going along the outside of my face and brushing towards the center. I want to keep the center of my face nice and bright. So I don't want to bronze in the middle, but I do want to bronze on the outer edges. It just gives that nice warm glow to it. Okay, that's it. Pretty simple for bronzing. All right. I'm gonna figure out what I do with my Perfector. There it is. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'm gonna grab back to my smaller brush and into the Indigo Contour. Your highlights and your contours, I will color match you with, so if you've not been color matched with me and would like to be, let me know, and we will take care of that. We can do it in person, or we can do it off of a photo if the photo is proper. That sounds bad, I know, but yeah, it is what it is. Hey Ivana, hey Jennifer. So if you'd like to be color matched, just get in touch with me and I will love to do that for you. Color matching is incredibly important because especially with cream makeup, if you end up with too light of a color, you're gonna see texture. It's gonna look chalky and cakey. No one wants that. No one wants that. If you get too dark, it's just gonna kind of look orange and a little oily and just not good. So that's why you get with me, someone who is very versed in color matching, has been doing this for over 2 years, and we will help you get your perfect match. All right, so what I did is I started up here by the top of my ear and I ran it right under my cheekbone towards the corner of my mouth. And then I started here at the top of my ear where my jawbone starts, came down and around. I'm one of those lucky women that as I age, I'm getting these guys right here called jowls. So because I want to try to minimize those, I stop my contour there. If you're younger and don't have those yet, you can bring them all the way through your chin, okay? All right, so there's our contour. I will probably play with it a little more once we get a little farther in, but that's where we're at. All right, next thing I like to do is brighten. And that is with this one right here called White Peach. And I'm back to my small brush. And I'm just gonna come in, put very little product under my eyes. Did y'all hear me? very little product. You'll notice that I put my very first one, my papaya, which is my color corrector on there. I didn't put anything else on there, and then I just use a tiny bit of product to brighten. I do it in a V with upward motion on the outer edge, and then I fill in underneath, extending past my bag in a V. That's going to help minimize your bag. It's going to help lift your eyes at the corner, and the least amount of product you can use under there, the better. I also brighten right here in the center of my forehead, my chin, right there on my cupid's bow and top lip. I have these things called marionette lines. They're from Smiling. I just like to fill those with a little brightness, and then I pop a little bit right here under my contour. That just makes that contour pop that much more. All right. The only other place that I'm going to brighten is right down the center of my nose, but I'm going to contour it first. So if you were here in the beginning, you saw that my nose is a 12-year-old girl, and it only likes what it likes, and this ash contour is it for her. So I have to use 2 contours. Most people don't, just me. All right, so I am going right along the ridge of my nose, and I'm just creating a slight shadow. That's all I'm doing. My nose has been broken a couple of times, so it's a little crooked. It's got a bump in the middle, and it kind of flares out at the end, which is not my favorite. So we are going to create the illusion that I have a nice, thin, straight nose. And I do that with contour. So now that I've kind of created those shadows, I'm going to take my brightening highlight and go right down the middle with it. Obviously, I use my finger. You can use a small brush if you prefer. And then if you need to clean up, because I can't draw a straight line to save my life, just use your brush that has your contour on it. Okay, there we go. So right now I look a little crazy. It's okay. That's what this guy's for. We're going to blend everything together. This is a perfector sponge. If you're not using one with your makeup, you should start. This is a fantastic one. I know they sell them for super cheap. I've used those super cheap ones. I'm not going to lie, this one's better. I would tell you if we have a product that isn't as good as another product, and actually I'll be telling you that in a little bit. But I think this is well worth the $13 that it costs. All right. Okay, so we've got everything blended that we have on so far. You can see I've got a nice bright center. I've got a more warmed and contoured outer edge. I'm gonna emphasize this contour a little more. Okay, there we go. Now it's time for my lip and cheek. I'm choosing Tropicana. It's one of my absolute favorites. It's what I wear pretty much on a daily basis. We do have 5 new lip and cheeks coming out. I'm super excited to try. We have 3 different textures. I don't think that's the right word, but we have 3 different kinds of lip and cheek. We have matte, semi-gloss, and gloss. Tropicana is a semi-gloss. All 5 of the new ones are gloss. I prefer to mix a gloss with a matte to make it a semi-gloss because that's just the texture that I prefer, but you certainly don't have to. All right, so again, I'm using the blend brush. I'm just starting here at the apple, and I'm kind of moving it lightly right along where I contoured kind of the top of my cheekbone. I'm keeping it out of my laugh lines. I'm keeping it out of my eye socket. Now, this is a cream product. It is going to be much more pigmented than the powder products that you're used to. So go slow and build up to the color that you want. You will use much, much, much less product with cream makeup. And then I just go back with my brush that I did my all over color with Just kind of soften those edges. I like the look of it. I like it to look a little more natural. Okay, there we go. Just a nice, fresh, pretty natural look. Now, if you notice, I have freckles right here. You can still see those freckles. Guys, skin has freckles, we have texture, we have all the things. If you take all that away with makeup, you're gonna look like you're wearing a mask. That's not my goal. If it's your goal, this probably isn't the right thing for you. I love that I can still see my natural freckles and all that fun stuff. It doesn't look like I've slapped a mask on my face. All right, my next thing is to set the makeup. You don't have to do this. This is my preference. We do have a pressed setting powder called Vanilla Dust. I prefer a powder one. So this is my favorite. It's by Hourglass. It's called Veil Translucent Setting Powder. And I do use our powder brush to apply it. I use this kind of angled side, and I just dip it in the powder and knock off the excess. And then I'm basically just using it where I brightened in the center of my face. So center of my forehead, under my eyes, my nose, and my chin. And I'm sure you're thinking at this point, I thought we weren't supposed to use setting powder because it settles in your lines and ages you. That is absolutely correct with some setting powders. It is not this setting powder. If you were here, I'd let you feel the texture of it and you would see it's like silk. It's extremely fine and refined, and it will not settle into your lines and make you look like that. So you can get the benefit of a setting powder without that con. All right. My next thing is brows. I let that sit while I do my brows. And I'm using the line brush to kind of groom them. And then I'm going to use a mixture of Arabian Nights cream eyeshadow and basic powder eyeshadow to kind of fill these guys in. And I literally just swipe in one and then swipe in the other. That's it. All right, so I'm going to start over here at my tail. I'm going to draw that in, and then I'm just kind of run it along the bottom. And I'm just making short hair-like strokes and following pretty much just my natural shape. Filling in any spots, making them look more uniform. You can certainly kind of exaggerate your natural shape if you choose to. That's completely up to you. I do like to kind of square off the ends a little bit, make them look a little more refined. Okay, and then I brush through them. Just helps look a little more natural. You can definitely see the difference in the two. This one you can't hardly see is on my face, and the other one you can. So there's that. All right. Again, we start at the tail, kind of run along the bottom to get our shape defined. Now, my eyebrows, honestly, do not look anything alike. They're a different shape. They start in different areas. They are incredibly annoying. But I do my best to look like they are at least related and should be on the same face. But it's normal for your brows to look a little differently. Our faces aren't symmetrical. They're not the same on each side. And so that is what causes things like brows to look a little different. One eye may be higher than the other. Things like that. It's normal. And we can just kind of fudge it a little bit. All right. Okay, there we go. There's brows. Super easy. All right, now I'm going to take the big side of my blush brush, kind of dust it off on a paper towel. And then I'm going to use that to dust off my powder that I put on. Gently. Okay. And then I'm going to come back to this blend brush that I used. And I'm going to use my illuminator. So illuminator, this is the one that I love to use. This is called Starlit. There you go. It is powder. We do have some cream illuminators. I just really like this powder. And you just be careful with it. It is powder. It is very shimmery. So you'll want to, again, take it slow, build up where you want it. Those are the areas that I put it, which was tops of cheekbones here. I don't know if you can see that shimmer. Maybe. The bridge of my nose. And then on my Cupid's bow, kind of top lip area. Okay, that just adds a really pretty shimmer that I love. All right. Next, I'm going to use a setting spray. We do have a setting spray. It's called Stay Spray. It's great. It smells fantastic. It is more of a wet spray, and I prefer more of a dry spray. So this is the one that I use. This is called Finish. Don't Sweat It. You can get it at their website. And this, between this, the setting powder, and my makeup, it's weatherproof. I have been out in 100-degree days, pouring rain, riding glasses, all the things. My makeup looks the same when I walk out the door as it does when I walk back in at the end of the day. It's fantastic. Just no swiping. Okay. All right, so we're going to hold it kind of far away and spray as much as you want. I do use my perfector sponge to just kind of make sure that it's not lumped in any areas and it's spread out well. If you have questions, feel free to post them in the comments. I can see them, and I would love to answer them for you. All right, so now I'm ready for my eyes. If I wasn't talking and teaching and doing this live, that would have been done in about 7 minutes. It is routinely done in about 7 minutes. I do a lot of times take more time on my eyes just because I like to play up that feature. But on days where I'm just trying to get ready, I can literally have everything done in 15 minutes. Out the door. All right. My wipe. Highlights off. Can't stand that feeling. Okay. So I told you I'm going to show you 5 of the new, at least probably 4, possibly 5 of the new eyeshadows. I really wish I could remember what they were all called now. These were originally released in the Advent calendar last Christmas, and they've been slowly, they did 2 releases, first half early summer, and then second half now on the 29th. So the first one I'm going to be using is now called Butterscotch. It's this color right here. And I'm going to sweep it kind of all over, staying out of right under my brow bone because I don't want color there. This is just going to be a nice, it's what we call transition shade. Just kind of laying the base for everything else. Okay, number one thing in eyeshadow is blending. You got to make sure that you blend. Okay, so there is Butterscotch. It does not add a ton of color. That's not what I'm using it for. It's just laying down that base of color for everything else to work off of. All right, my next color right here is Holly. This is a beautiful kind of dark, rich, excuse me, terracotta color. And I'm using the small end of my brush now. I just used the big end for Butterscotch. Now I'm using the small end, and this is going to be more targeted placement. I'm putting it right here on my outer corner. I do have hooded eyes, so I bring it up here on my hood, and that helps my eye look more open, more lifted, less hooded. Okay, so I am placing it right there. I am going to run it kind of down towards my inner eye to get a little color in there. Again, I'm lifting that hood. And then I'm going to flip my brush around and I'm going to swirl to get that nice and blended. You can add more color to it if you want to deepen it. You should always be using lighter layers and more layers if you want to deepen color. You don't want to go in there with just a ton on your brush and try to really pack on the color in one punch. It's going to make it look uneven, and that's how when you see pop out you go, whoa, that's probably why. Okay, so light, even layers will get the job done. Our eyeshadows are very pigmented. They stay on fantastically, and you don't need all that. So that's my little PSA for the day. I'm also going to take this Holly. I'm going to run it right on my lower lash line. I much prefer, I have pretty light eyelashes, if you haven't noticed already. So I need something on that bottom to make it look like, you know, I have eyelids down there. So I love the drama it gives when you run that under there, but also it helps define that area. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Again, this eye shape is different, so I'm never gonna get these perfectly symmetrical. I've learned to be okay with that. It is what it is. My husband's trying to open cereal quietly. All right, there's that, and I'm gonna run it under my lash line, or on my lash line, I should say. Now, if you have like super watery eyes where you have a problem that if you put stuff under it, it tends to run, maybe just test this theory out for you on a day you don't have to go somewhere. I do not have that problem. I've never had that problem with our eyeshadows. I have had it with other eyeshadows, not with ours. That is not to say that this won't happen to you if you do actually have like super watery eyes. So just test that out. Everything works a little differently on everyone, so you can't, it's not just so everyone's the same kind of thing. So one thing that I love to do is, in addition to putting that color under my eyes, hang on, sorry, I didn't have this prepared. Okay, I love to go right here, kind of on my waterline, but on the upper side of my lash line with this dark brown. This is called Coal. And for me, it adds just a little more definition that I really want in that lash line. Again, this is optional. Use it as your preference. But you can see it's not a huge thing, but having that right on that lash line really adds that definition that I'm looking for personally. Okay, that's it. Really simple. If you want, you can kind of deepen that corner, that outer corner, by taking a little bit of it on your brush and just kind of brushing it into that corner. Like that. Again, totally up to you. This is pretty much would be like an everyday look for me. I know it's pretty bold for some. So again, it's what you're comfortable with, what you like. Okay. I love to have some sort of shimmer on my lid. It just brings that extra gorgeousness, in my opinion. So for that, I'm going to use this one that's called, I can't remember what it's called now. It used to be called Believe. Yeah, Believe. I don't remember what it's called now, but it's going to be this one right here. This is a gorgeous kind of shimmery, reddy orange color that's so pretty. Now, I like to keep my lid light. So what I'm doing is I'm adding this for that gorgeous kind of reddish orange shimmer. But I'm going to go over it with this right here. This is called Angel's Landing. And it's going to add just a little more shimmer. It's going to brighten it up. But if I had just done Angel's Landing, it wouldn't have that beautiful kind of reddish orange that I wanted. So you can easily layer these shimmers. And you can tell that I don't know how easily you can see that. Not very, it doesn't come through very well on there, but you can, in person, you can see that the glitter shape is a little bit different. So it sits differently. How pretty. So pretty. All right, and I love to do shimmers with my finger. They just make them pop that much more, make them that much more amazing. All right, last one I'm gonna use, this is called Drift. And I'm gonna use my flat side of my multitasker and I'm just running it right along my brow, just to kind of highlight that area, lift the eye a little bit. My dog's decided it's playtime. Always morning playtime. And then I'm also gonna put it here in the center, or sorry, the corner of my eye. This helps make the eye look more open, more awake. You can do this with a light colored shadow that does not have shimmer if you prefer. I just like the shimmer. Give me all the glitters. I'm here for it. All right, and then I just go through and try to make sure they look as similar as possible with my dissimilar eyes. All right, I'm gonna show you lips really quickly, and then off camera, well, I'll show you my favorite eyeshadow, but I won't actually take the 10 minutes it takes me to do mascara, not eyeshadow. Okay, this is, again, the small end of my multitasker. And I'm just coming in with my contour color, Indigo. And I'm going to line and lightly fill the edges of my lips with this. I know it seems like a very dark color to do this, but it works beautifully, at least for me. If you're lighter skin, you may use Ash or Astoria instead. Or even henna. I'm just lining, I'm going right on the edge of my lip, take advantage of as much as I can. And lining helps define your lips, helps to make your lip colors look more sharp and clean, and your lips a little more plump. Okay. They're getting really close to my light stand, so hopefully it doesn't fall on my face in a second. All right, so there is our liner in Indigo. Again, you can even use a darker lip and cheek color to line if you'd like. A lot of people use scarlet, which is a beautiful red that we have. Okay, and then I'm just taking this Tropicana, which is what I put on my cheeks, and I'm lightly filling in here in the center. And then I'm going to kind of blend the two together. This creates a more natural color than just slapping on Tropicana on your lips, in my opinion. And because I am a little bit darker toned, those lighter skin tones can, or those lighter lip and cheek, if you just put it on, can seem a little 80s frosted lips, you know what I'm saying? Okay, there we go. If you want to kind of accentuate your lips even more, take your illuminator, put it on your finger, and just dab in the center. That will create fullness in the center. Make your lips look more full. Okay. All right, my favorite mascara of all time is Thrive Liquid Lash Extensions. It's fantastic. I absolutely love it. I won't bore you with putting it on right this second, but I will take pictures of the done, finished look, and I do have pictures of before, and I will post them here. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you want to be color matched, I would love to do that. Get in contact with me, and thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate you all. I will see you later. Bye.